Fight and Talk back again, and today I'm delighted to say I'm joined by Cage Warriors lightweight champion, looking to become welterweight champion, Mason Jones, ahead of his just announced fight with Adam Proctor as part of Cage Warriors, the trilogy. Mason, first things first, thank you very much for taking time out to talk to us today. How have things been over the last few months? I mean, the last time you made the walk, it was the weekend of lockdown, so how have things been?
Yeah, good, mate. Obviously, thanks for having me on. Get the champ on and soon to be champ. But yeah, it's been good. So I had 2 weeks off after that fight. I didn't take any damage in that fight, so I didn't have a bruise. I had a little bit of swelling on my foot where I kept kicking in, but you get that. Do you know what I mean? Like you're kicking full pelt, and a lot of time you catch a bit of shin. And the way I kick, I always kick at the Achilles most of the time. So you end up catching their ankle a bit. So I had a little bit of swelling on my shin, but that was gone within 2 days, really, 2-3 days. So I had 2 weeks off for the lockdown, and then my boxing coach literally just gave me his keys and was like, look, we can't go in for sessions, but you're welcome to sort of train. So I had the keys and was training for a week. And then my kicking coach, my taekwondo coach, he jumped in after that and was padding me twice a week. And then 5 weeks after that, so 7 weeks after the fight, 7-8 weeks after the fight, my boxing coach was back doing rounds with me. And then it was another 3 weeks, so 12 weeks after, where my jiu-jitsu coach was finally allowed to come back and start doing some jiu-jitsu stuff for me. And my wrestling coach was after that again, mainly because they had to wait for the IBJJF to give them the sort of the nod to BJJ. The UK BJJ had to give them the allowance to go. So because I'm a pro and I'm signed professionally with Cage Warriors, we were given the go-ahead to go. So I was back training flat out all the way ready through. Like when I was just training with Carl, my taekwondo coach, I was running, I was getting cardio-wise, like I was walking the dog all the time. I ended up, I think, every morning I'd wake up around 7:30 and I'd walk the dog for like 8 to 10K. She's only a little Frenchie as well, so I nearly walked until her legs fell off. So he's walking like 8-10K every day. Then I kicked with him and then I'd run after it. So I was getting enough in, do you know what I mean? Like just to make sure that my weight doesn't get too big, because I do go up to about 83 kilos. So yeah, I've been flat out. It's been really good.
You mentioned the weight there. Of course, this fight is up at welterweight. I mean, I think it's a fight that may surprise a lot of people. Now it's been announced, maybe not a fight that we were expecting. Was the initial idea for you to defend the belt, or what was the sort of plan?
I was always intending to defend. I still intend to defend, because just because I'm going to beat Adam and be the 2-weight world champion doesn't mean that I'm not going to defend the lightweight championship belt. It was more so we didn't know who I was going to fight. There was a bit of weight, and then the opportunity come for the welterweight belt, and I liked that matchup, because I always see Adam Proctor as more as a big lightweight. I don't really see him as a welterweight. Like when you're looking at Dan Hooker, Habib, Ferguson, Ferguson and Habib, they go up to plus 90 kilos. So that's 205 pound. I go up to 83 kilos, which is 181, 183 pound. So I go up to just about middleweight. But I still wouldn't count myself as a welterweight. I mean, I'm an average size lightweight. I'm not as big as I want to be. Like I want to get to about in between 85 and 90, and then cut down to lightweight from there, really. So obviously, when you're in shape, you're fit, and you're going, and you're in season, you're always going to be in between about 83 and 81 kilos. I don't really want to be bigger than that. Like trying to cut from there is just ridiculous. So that is where perfect go. So I was in a perfect position to cut the lightweight, and then obviously we took this matchup to become the champ. I can't stop saying that. But it just worked out well for me. So obviously I'm still dieting. Like I'm dieting flat out. I want to be going in there about 78, 79 kilos. Like I don't want to be going in there big. My game plan is to be faster than Adam, is to be strong, and it's just to be fit. It's just to blow him away with cardio if I need to. Just have the option of just constantly being able to push that pace and just constantly just pressure him, because he doesn't get pressured. He's good at pressuring people, but I don't think he'll react well under pressure. And when people want to hurt him, I go in there to destroy people. I don't go in there to beat people, whereas he goes in there to beat people. And it's a good way to win fights, but against someone like me, he's going to struggle, and I'm really going to hurt him. So it's going to be an exciting fight. Like every one of my fights is an exciting fight, but it's really going to be one of those you're going to sit back and you're going to think, wow. And the only other person who's won 2 belts in Cage Warriors is Conor McGregor. There's no one else who's done it. So I'm looking forward to making Welsh history, being the first person to win the lightweight and welterweight belts, and looking forward to just obviously make my mark. And I think this is going to cement my Cage Warriors legacy. and it's really going to give me that boost. It's going to push me on to UFC. But like I said, if I win this fight, sorry, my battery come up as a warning. So if I win this fight and I still don't get UFC call up, it's not a problem. I'll look to defend. Hopefully, Cage Warriors will put another show on November, December, and I'll be ready to go. I'm ready to go year round. I'm always ready to go. Like I was texting Graham all the way through January saying, "Look, put a show on. I'm ready to go." And when the March card came up, it showed. Do you know what I mean? Like that's the best performance of mine you've seen so far. And again, I'm going to be better again.
You do mention the weight there, of course, when everybody's really fueled. A lot of people looking at you moving up to that welterweight division may wonder about if there is a weight differentiator. Or is that an issue for you? Is it something that you're concerned about, or are you happy, like you just said there, going in there a little bit not lighter, but possibly lighter than Adam come fight night and performing that way?
I'm definitely going to be going in there lighter than Adam. Like I expect Adam to be between 85 and 89 kilos when he walks into the fight. As I know how big, like when I fight lightweight, I'll weigh in at 70 kilos and I go in and I fight between 78 and 79 kilos. Sometimes I go, the last one I was 80 kilos going in. So I put about 10 kilos on back recovery overnight. And people always look at me and they go, "Oh, you should move down a weight." And I'm like, there's no way. I could move down a weight, but I'd have to run. I'd have to really increase my cardio and I'd have to really change my body shape a little bit. So that means I just have to sort of cut up more, cut some muscle mass and really sort of drain myself a bit. But I just don't see the need. Like I said, I just see Adam as being a big lightweight. Dan Hooker is cut from 85 kilos to make lightweight. I know when he recovers, he's walking around at 85, 86 kilos when he fights. I just see Adam as being a big lightweight. Do you know what I mean? So he's only 6'1". He's the same size as Joe was when I fought. Obviously, he stands really upright, so there's going to be a size difference because I bring myself down, I can pack myself in, and I always load on my back leg. So there's going to be a height difference, there's going to be a size difference, but when I start landing shots, it doesn't matter the weight difference. Like he's going to feel my power and he's going to struggle.
In terms sort of stylistically of this fight as well, what sort of fight do you see Adam Proctor bringing?
So Adam fights the same fight in every one of his fights, which is, I know people say that I just sort of do the same. Like you always know it's going to be a strike and exchange, but I'm really flexible. I can adapt to any situation. So Adam comes out, he's quite rigid. He's really upright, sits really high, as sort of like rigid striking, throws singles and doubles, mainly single shots. And then when he's ready, he hits a blast double, takes it down, and then he just sort of compacts and waits, and he's always sort of waiting, looking for that back, and just he's not hurried to advance. Whereas I'm going to be moving to outstrike him. I'm going to be using my footwork and really putting the pressure on him. Like he normally takes the center and he normally advances. I'm going to be pushing him back, and then I can see him obviously either trying to take me down and could well take me down. Like I'm not going to be going in there going, "Look, he's not ever going to take me down," because the guy's got really good doubles. Like he hits a blast double really well, but like. I watched his fight against is it Fleming or Flem? Can't see his name.
My dad's Fleming. Yeah.
Like he got taken down with a double and just sort of went relax. Like as soon as I hit the ground, I bounce back up. So I'll be putting my feet out. I'll be using that cage to bounce back up, and I'll be dragging myself up. So if he takes me down 6, 7, 8 times in the first round, constantly taking me up, I'll be carrying back up, and we'll see which one of us gasses first. Like it's a 5-round fight. So he's welcome to try and win the first fight in the first round and constantly keep taking me down because he'll tire before I will, and I'll be able to put the pressure on him, and he'll break. He will definitely break. And if you're watching this and you're thinking, "Oh no, I've seen Adam fight," you won't. Just watch. I'm gonna break Adam on fight night.
You mentioned that champ status as well. You say yourself you can't stop seeing it. What would that mean to you to become only the second man in Cage Warriors history to hold both belts simultaneously?
It's just status. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, if I saw, I see Cage Warriors as a sort of warm up and a testing ground for moving on to UFC. That's all I see it as. Like this is where we do my education. This is where you develop. And I saw the opportunity and I took it. And the champ status is just going to cement how good I am and that I am more than credible to move up and to win fights at lightweight and to really start to cement my status. And this will just show I'm more than ready. Like I was happy to defend if there was someone there, but there was no challenges at lightweight. There was no one really ready. Like Paddy is coming back off obviously some 2-fight win streak now, and the Paddy fight was there, but I just didn't see a challenge in Paddy, and that's no disrespect to Paddy because he's a decent, legit opponent. But the way it's going to work out is I'm going to win this fight, and then I'm going to move on. And he's going to fight for the belt, and whether he wins that belt is up to him. But there was no one when Jai won the belt. Like I was always pushing, like there was always me next, and like there was people who were saying like, oh, you need another fight, and so they found outside fighters for him to fight. Do you know what I mean? They brought in fights. They brought him opposition. He fought the American, and that was perfect. And like with me, I thought that they were going to do that, and I'd been happier to have done that, to fought a UFC veteran or a Bellator veteran or someone who's going to lift my status up. But with all the COVID stuff, all of a sudden it becomes shit. What is going to happen? So this fight worked out for me, worked out for Adam, because obviously, who would have fought Adam if I didn't step up? Who was there? Because obviously Aaron Khalid, good training friend of mine, he's coming off loss at the moment. Lahore's gone to Brave. Rhys McKee's in UFC. Who else is there in that division? Who's the Irish boy? Ian Carey. Sorry, no disrespect to Ian. He's a massive guy, but he's 3-0, 2-0.
Mm-hmm.
They need to build him up. You can't give a 2-0 or 3-0 guy a title fight. The same they were saying about Open fighting me, and that's all well and good. Like I felt ready for a title fight when I was 2-0, 3-0, but you have to build that record up. Like as a British fighter, the old goal is to move on to UFC, and like UFC don't pick up Brits unless you're 5-0, 6-0, pushing on to 9-0, 10-0, because like with Americans, they'll pick them up 3-0, 4-0. A friend of mine's fighting this weekend on Saturday. He's fighting Hackprast. And he is 6-0, I believe. And then obviously because he's a US citizen, they can try him. He's going to do well. But say they brought a different American in who was the same record and he sort of bombed out, then they can just cut him. With a UK fighter, you have to get your works visa to work abroad. So they have to spend lawyers and they have to spend lawyer fees to get you a works visa to fight in the UFC. So then all of a sudden they're spending money, whereas before they can just sign you, try you, and cut you. For a British fighter, you have to be worth their effort. Do you know what I mean? So they don't want someone who's just going to bomb out. They put money into people who are going to do the job, unless you're fighting on UK ground or European ground. That's why a lot of guys they test British fighters on European ground before they move them to the US. Obviously, people like Brett Johns. Being the difference, do you mean? Like Brett, I think his debut was in Vegas, same as Jack Marshman, and they went and they did the job.
You mentioned British MMA. I mean, if we look more specifically at Welsh MMA, just how good is Welsh MMA right now? The likes of yourself, Jack Shaw, Brett Johns, Jack Marshman, John Phillips. Just how good's Welsh MMA right now?
We're on a tear, and I don't think you've even seen the best we can do. Like Jack Shaw is the best talent inside Europe. That's not to be argued. Like as much as I think shit, I want to be up there with Jack and I want to be pushing for that status. I want to be saying like, who's the best talent? Is it Mason or is it Jack? Like there's no race when someone's that far ahead at the moment. Like he's on a tear in UFC at the moment, and he is the best talent there. So you've got Jack Shaw, who's going to be leading the race, and I'm hoping I can catch up to him we'll see who fights for the belt first. But he's not going to struggle until you find him with someone in the top 10. He's not going to struggle. The same way as Khabib tore through the division, and people were saying, oh, wait till they find him a good wrestler, a good striker, he's going to struggle. Because he does his route really well, and he does his game plan really well. Until you find someone who can stop it dead, which is a massive struggle, because Jack is really, he's good everywhere. Like Jack's striking is unbelievable. Like people don't understand his striking is legit. Until you find someone who's really going to pressure him and really going to make him sort of struggle, I don't think you're going to see Jack even really take a breath until he goes through. Like when he was in Cage Warriors, like they matched him with Scott Malone. They was like, look, Scott's really going to trouble him. He's got really good judo and he's going to do this. And he come out and he stopped Jack taking him down for like half a round. And then Jack took him down and it was the same old fight of Jack's. Jack recycles him. he's constantly working, and then the finish comes. Same as that with Scott Malone, and that's what's going to happen in UFC. Brett Johns, like, that guy's going from strength to strength. Like, I've seen him in the Cage Warriors roster, and he was beating guys, and he was always one of them people I was like, oh, look, he does the same thing. He takes people down. Like, his striking doesn't seem quite there yet. And then he made his UFC debut, and I was like, I don't understand what that guy's been doing, because his striking looks so much better. And he comes from strength to strength. And obviously, he's training out of Shaw Martial Arts now. And his last fight, whether it was a close fight or not, he fought a guy who was really good at what he does, and he just wore him down and he beat him. And I thought it was a really good win. Like, people were saying they thought it was a boring fight and he didn't want to fight. Like, Brett literally took a guy who was good at what he did, took him into his own backyard and beat him, and that's a hard thing to do. Jack Marshman knocked people out there front and centre, and John Phillips is obviously coming off a loss to
Chimaev.
Yeah, him. One of the Dagestanis, or I know he's from Sweden, but he's yeah. And that's a hard fight. Do you mean, like, he fought him, then he fought Rhys McKee, and I think the stats were 158 shots to 2.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was.
Person landed 2 shots, so that wasn't a good fight for John. Like, John's a striker, as he showed in his fight before that, when he knocked that guy out to come out to brawl with him in like 30 seconds. So John will be back, and like, these are the guys. They're all legit guys. They're all guys who have really backed themselves. And even if you look at Bellator as well, we've got some good. So, like, Lou Long fights in Bellator.
Yeah.
Lou Long's first fight, he literally murdered a guy, and then his second fight, he come out. It was a bit of a close fight, and then the guy managed to finish him. But Lou will be back. Like, we're always those sort of people who we're a fighting nation. We're resilient, and we're really going to show you what Welsh MMA can do. And like, some of the guys you got coming through, like Ben Ellis, Aaron Khalid, Owen Elliott. There's some of the younger ones like Owen Davis, Josh Hudson. Like, these are all guys who are, when you see them go pro and you see them start building their records up, like, you're just gonna think, oh wow, where these guys come from. Like, Ben Ellis managed I think it was either a half guard or mount, hit a guy with a short hook and knocked the guy out cold with literally like a 2-inch long hook from top mount. So you'll be surprised until you see how these guys can do.
Another name as well you mentioned there is Rhys McKee. I know you're flying out to Ireland to go and train with Rhys. Can you sort of tell us a bit about how that came about and how much of a conscious decision was that, knowing Rhys was originally scheduled to fight Adam?
So the only way I can describe it was me and Rhys really wanted to fight each other. So when I fought in Cardiff, they were like, oh, Rhys McKee's just signed. And I was like, look, I don't care. I was like, I'll smash Rhys up. And Rhys did an interview after his fight, and he was like, look, he's like, name a fighter, and they were like, Mason Jones. He's like, yeah, I'll kill Mason. And we was both like, yeah, we'd love to scrap. And then we sort of like, he messaged me saying like, well done in one of my fights. I think John Sloan, who's an interviewer, he sort of connected to us that we was meant to do an interview together, and we ended up speaking a bit. And like, we didn't want to be too friendly, because he's a bit like me, where you're really polite to people, but like, you're not going to be chummy with people who you may have to beat. So when he moved to welterweight, I messaged him saying something like, oh, you bastard. I thought we was going to fight, and we ended up speaking a bit. But we still weren't too friendly, because I knew Rhys had the mentality of winning the welterweight belt, making another crazy weight cut down to lightweight, squeezing one more out, and trying to fight for the 2 belts. So we were sort of friendly, but like, I think neither of us wanted to push too much, because we didn't know whether we'd fight. So as soon as I knew he signed UFC, I was like, look, I want to get some training in. I was like, do you need training partners for this fight? Like, when you fighting? And I didn't realize he was going out in 6 days. So I was like, look, that's not going to work out. After this, I messaged him and said, look, mate, I was like, I'm fighting Adam Proctor, and he sent me loads of laughing faces. I think he called me a bastard, because obviously that was his fight and his belt. And I invited him to come train down with me, and said I'd cover his accommodation and stuff. And with his gym, obviously all his gyms opening up, I think he either owns Stealth, or he's up incoming with his, I don't know. He's basically, he's got ties to Stealth. I'm not sure if it's his gym or not. I'm pretty sure it's his gym. But anyway, so obviously with his gym and classes being back reopened, I think he just had a lot on. So he was like, look, no problem. I'll book a flight. So me and my girlfriend booked flights out. He's sorting the accommodation out for us. So I think we'll cover the accommodation then when we're out there. And obviously I got to train with him in Norman Park for a few days. So I go out Tuesday, I'm back Friday. So it's only a few days of some good sparring. and then I come back and straight back into camp. So it's 7 weeks out before we fight, a week there, and then 6 weeks to go. So another solid 5 weeks training back, and then start the weight cut and get ready to champ status.
What is the plan for you if you do secure that champ status? Will it be staying at welter? Will it be dropping back down to lightweight to defend? How do you sort of see this playing out if you do get the victory in September?
So I'm not going to disrespect the lightweight belt and say, look, yeah, we'll see what comes out. Like when I win that welterweight belt, I'll be going back down to lightweight to defend that if that fight comes. The way it goes, maybe UFC will be interested in signing me, and then maybe this will be my last fight in cage. Bloody hell, tired guys. Cage Warriors. Sorry, I always struggle with that for some reason. Be my last fight in Cage Warriors, but if not, then I'll be looking to defend that lightweight strap. So it'll be nice going in to defend my lightweight strap as the dual champion. Do you know what I mean? Like that's going to be a headhunter's dream. So all these boys in the lightweight division are going to be wanting to fight for the lightweight strap, or maybe even I don't know. Graham could fight for both belts. Do you know what I mean? And then it all depends on what Cage Warriors want me to do and what Graham wants me to do. So it's up to them. My old game plan is just sort of win this belt, and we'll see from there. Like I'm not going to be looking over Adam Proctor. I'm not one of those people who's going to be like, look, I'm going to beat Adam and I'm going UFC. Like I know I said like if that comes, but like Adam is no one to look over the top of. Like Adam's legit. He's 12-1. He's got one loss to Aaron Khalid. He's got something like 4 or 5 submission finishes and then like 7 decisions. He's a legit guy. I just think I'm going to beat him. I know I'm going to beat him. I know stylistically it's my fight, and I'm really looking forward to showing sort of the world where I can do it yet again, and I'm ready to move up.
It is scheduled for 5 rounds. Do you see yourself getting involved in a 5-round war, or how do you see the fight playing out?
Look, I'm always ready for a 5-round war. I go on the co-op in the morning, and I'm always ready for a 5-round war. Like that's me all over. Like I'm always fit. I'm always ready. Like stay ready is the best mentality to be. So if Adam wants me to take him 5 rounds, I'll take him 5 rounds, and I'll kick the smoke out of him for 5 rounds. But I'm always looking to finish. Like my fight against Joe, like people thought it'd be a 2nd round victory, and I literally said, look, I'm going to drown him in the 1st or the 2nd round. Like he's going to struggle, and my game plan is good. My game plan was to smash his legs, slow him down. And then literally I knew that if I hurt him, his head could come down and I could finish him with an uppercut or a knee. Like I'm good with my backhand uppercut and I'm good with my right knee. I caught him and then the knee went in, and that was the end of Joe. So Adam is really, he's sort of quite rigid. He's got a decent striking, but he doesn't really use his length the way he should. So I think I'm going to outstrike him. I'm going to land some shots. I'm going to stop his takedown, and then I'm going to really put pressure on him. I'm going to hurt him. And I think I'm going to put him away within 2 to 3 rounds. But if Adam wants to take it a 5-round fight and he wants me to keep putting the pressure on, I'll pile the pressure on him for 5 rounds. I'm going to make it 5 rounds where he doesn't want to come out the corner. And like that happens in my fights. Like people, they literally think, look, he's going to slow down. And I never slow down. I'll speed up if it comes to it. So here we go. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm ready for a 5-round war, but it's just not going to need it.
This is your 2nd consecutive fight behind closed doors as well now. What did you take away from that first experience in the Joe McColgan fight, and what will you be taking into the Adam fight from learning from that first fight behind closed doors?
I don't really see the difference, to be honest. Obviously, it's weird because the walkout, you need to hype yourself up a little bit more because there's no one there to react off against. There's no one to bounce off. But like I said, I could go to the co-op in the morning and I'm ready for a 5-round war. And like I know it sounds like a joke, but I'm always ready to go. So it's just the COVID tests, isolation is going to be new, and then obviously it's the weight in. The weight in's always a killer. But it's just sort of. I don't know what to say, to be honest. I just found it easier, if anything else, because you can hear your corner easier. It's easier to stay calmer. So like when I see a crowd and like you have to walk to the arena and there's always people there trying to stop and talk to you, and like my adrenaline is always kicking off then because people are like, look, how are you feeling? I'm like ready to go. And then you have to avoid other people then because like I like to stay calm as much as I can. I like to sleep before I fight and stay calm because my adrenaline kicks off and I get so excited that it's sort of you're wasting energy. So like I like to sit, I like to relax, and then play some music. I don't watch fights before I fight, so like the the Cage Warriors cards on. Like even when I fought on I was fighting on the Welsh cards, and like there was like 5-6 people of whose fights I wanted to watch myself. I never watched the fights before me. I literally, my coaches watch, and they know to keep it away from me. I'll sit in the corner of the way and listen to some music, and they let me know. So like when I fought in Manchester, Chris Edwards was fighting on that card before me, and they were like, "Look, Chris Edwards lost decision." I was like, "Yeah, cool, no problem. We'll watch it back tomorrow." And then when he came back, I literally just said, "Oh, look, it was a close fight, man," because like they literally said, "Look, it was a close fight. He could have won." But I never watch fights before I fight, so it's easy to relax sort of thing. It's a bit cooler. It's a bit calmer in the change rooms. There's less noise. The walkout is a bit irritating because like everyone's so sort of quiet, and then you have to think about it. And like they introduced him. It's like Mason the Dragon Jones, and there's no sound. Just hear the corner going, "Hey!" It's just sort of like, "Oh, this is good." But yeah, it's just one of them. They lock the doors. I'm ready to go.
For you as well, if you get out of this one injury-free, how sort of quick of a turnaround would you be looking at to get back in the cage? Because obviously COVID sort of ruined this year, I feel like, for a lot of fighters. So you've got this opportunity in September. How quickly do you want to be back in there after that fight?
I'd love to fight November. Obviously, it gives me 8 weeks, 7-8 weeks to get back. So it means that I can literally just get back into camp and just keep pushing. Like I love being in camp, to be honest. It's something I like doing. I'm not like one of those person for parties and stuff. Like I sort of did that when I was younger. I never really been a big drinker. I haven't drunk. I've been teetotal for 3 years now. And before that, I drunk, and then I'd had like 18 months off, and I'd had like a drink, and then I had like 3 months off, and then before that, I had like another year off where I had like these big spurts, and then I'd have an odd drink here and there, and then in the end, it was just sort of like, well, I don't know why I'm drinking. I don't see the need. I'm going out and sober anyway and enjoying myself. So I was the Desi driver all the time. Do you know what I mean? I was the one who made sure none of the boys were drink driving, made sure they got home okay. And like I always enjoyed myself. Do you know what I mean? Like I met girls. It was sort of girls I've been speaking to. We'd sort of like go out, and then I'd end up just sort of having a chill night. And then we go home, sort of thing. So I always enjoyed it. Like I'm not a boring guy. I know I sort of seem it sometimes. It sounds so depressing, but I've always been like quite active and quite fun at parties anyway. If I'm sober, like a lot of people accuse me of taking drugs and drinking before, and like never understood. I'm like, "Oh look, come on, let's go home." And they're like, "Oh no, you've definitely been drinking." I'm like, "No, I'm just having fun." Do you know what I mean? But yeah, so I'm done with that. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, me and my girlfriend's been together for 2.5 years now. She really understands being an ex-fighter herself, so we just sort of cruising through, and I get to see my friends. I get to have the family around me, and my family will come up for this fight. So yeah, I'm happy to stay in camp. Like I'll win this fight, recover any injuries or cuts that I have in this fight, and then I'll be ready to go. So hopefully November.
You mentioned, of course, that legacy as well. If you secure that champ status, if we look sort of by this time next year, where do you see yourself?
Oh, well, that all depends on everyone else. Do you mean like I'll either have defended the lightweight strap and I'll be hopefully signed by UFC, or I'll still be working towards getting signed towards UFC, where that means whether I fight again. Like I'm hoping in a year to fight. I always like to do 2 to 3 fights a year. So if that means I could win this fight and I defend a belt or two once or twice in that time frame, then perfect. Obviously, you never know what's going to happen. But I would like to have fought in UFC in November. And then defended again, and then obviously fought again in January, March. January would be good, and then maybe March. Yeah, maybe 2-3 fights. Like I'm happy to be active. Like I said, I don't need time off. I don't have to worry about work. I don't worry about any hobbies. So like fighting is my hobby. Like I do other things, but fighting is my hobby. So I drop everything for fighting. So yeah, sign me up. Do you know what I mean? I love to fight November. I love to fight January. I love to fight in like March. April, and then maybe be looking for another fight. So I may be 4 fights in. I mean, 13-0, looking for my 4th one.
Finally, Mason, as well, just how big and just how important and just how good is this trilogy show Cage Warriors are putting on as a return?
So obviously everyone knows how serious COVID has been, and everyone knows how Bellator shut down, UFC was struggling. They got the Fight Island card on, but a lot of guys haven't fought for a long time. Cage Warriors made sure Manchester happened. They made it happen safely. I don't think I've done that many different tests for different things. it got on your nerves in the end. He was like, oh, look, I don't want to do it again. But they looked after our safety. They looked after our family safety, because like I could have got ill. I could have been fine. Like I'm fit and in peak of my health. I could have passed it on to my brothers or my dad. One of them could have had something underlying and they could have passed, or something, anything could have happened. Like you never know. So I'm really thankful that Cage Warriors have done what they can. But a fighter's got to fight, and they're doing it in such a way that we're safe, we're looked after, and they're making sure that Cage Warriors cements itself as the best shows in Europe. And we are the best production in Europe. You'll never find a more professional production in Europe. That's the main reason I left boxing when I did, and I was happy to jump in with Cage Warriors, because they always looked after me. So I'm happy Cage Warriors is showing and really cement themselves as the best show in Europe, and they're really leading the way and showing how it can be done. And I can't wait to see these 3 nights, like this crazy amount of fights going. I think it's 60 fights over 3 nights in there, or something stupid, or 15 each night. 45 fights over 3 nights. Like it's going to be a crazy showcase. You've got 4 belts up for grabs. 4 belts up for grabs, yeah.
I believe so.
Yeah.
As of now, yes, that's
yeah. 4 fights up for grabs, 4 or 5. Obviously, the only belt that isn't going to be up for grabs, I think, is going to be the lightweight division. So it's going to be a filled weekend. You're going to see French talent, you're going to see Welsh talent, you're going to see English talent, you're going to see Scottish talent. Like you're going to see us all show exactly what all Europeans can do, and I just can't wait for it. I'm really looking forward to it, and I can't wait to put on a showcase. And like I said, cement my legacy. Do you know what I mean? Like you said, what happened here? Maybe there'll be a statue in the middle of town for me. Do you know what I mean? With my two belts up like this.
Mason, thank you very much for taking the time out to talk to us today, and all the best for September.
Thanks for having me on. And like I said, anytime you want an interview, just drop me a message. Maybe it'll be my first UFC interview after I get signed. Quick shout out before I go. Shout out to SD Sealants, PMP Builders, CCS Scaffolding, Tatami Fightwear, Precision Nutrition, Candor Talent, and Paint Seekers. Another big shout out to SD Sealants. They're literally paying for my camp to go to Ireland to train with Rhys. They paid for my flights, they're paying for my bags, they're paying for my transport, they're paying for my fuel, my food. They're helping me out. They just literally dropped me like $1.5 to help out with everything going. So it really makes a difference. So obviously massive support, and I'll try and make sure I do some good posts. If you haven't followed me yet, drop me a message on Instagram. Drop me a follow at MasonJones95. I'm the one with the blue tick next to his name. That's me. So I'm really, really enjoying that status. But find me on Instagram, drop me a message. I always reply. Just don't drop me too many messages, because people message me and I'm like, look, mate, I was like, I don't want to be best friends. I don't mind replying, but I got my do you know what I mean? But drop me a message. I'll follow, and drop me a follow. I'm trying to build my Instagram following up. And again, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, not a problem. Just quickly as well before we go, I think it's something that does need to be spoke about. You mentioned your sponsors there. I think some people don't understand just how important sponsors are for the likes of yourself. What does it mean to have that sort of backing off either local businesses or global businesses? What does that mean to you as a fighter?
So Cage Warriors, even though it's a massive production, they still, like, they're paying 45 fighters off a card where they're not selling tickets for. And even when they sell tickets, they're out costs and stuff. Like, we're not getting paid a massive amount of sum. Like, this fight, I'm getting paid a couple of grand, but it's not as much as you think. Like, by the time I have my sponsors payments and stuff, and my purse off Cage Warriors, and I cover my medical fees, I'll probably be taking away, and by the time I pay my coaches, I'll probably be taking over about $2.5 grand. So it's not a large sum of money. So it's hard. So I literally make money at the moment by my sponsors. So sponsors help me paying for my bills. They help me put my food on the table. They help me pay my housing bills, everything. So they really help everything. So drop me a message on Instagram. That's probably the best way. And I can fire you across my email. I can fire you an email across from your email address, and you can look to sponsor. Obviously, I'm a growing prospect. My Instagram's nearly up to 10K now. I've got a new swipe up option because like I said, makes a massive, massive deal, because obviously I can direct people straight to your page or your product, and I can really start marketing things now. And I'm hoping now to really start boosting. Like, if I can hit that 10K marker by the end of this year, that means I can really start hitting my growth, and I can start earning some money from Instagram, and I can start actually being worth sponsoring. So support local fighters. Do you mean I'm a tax-free loophole anyway? So you can claim back on tax. But yeah, I'm always looking for local sponsors, and as soon as this fight's announced, I'm going to be looking for sponsors again. Obviously, I'm waiting to try and ride the champ hype. Look for sponsors. So drop me a message and get in touch.
Spot on. Mason, thank you very much for your time.
Oh, thank you again, mate.
Thank you.
Catch you soon.
See you later. Thanks.